Hello and welcome to Bendy, a podcast about being flexible in all of the ways that means. Thanks for joining us. My name is Andy Young, and I'm one of your recurring transient hosts. Joining me, as always, is our other recurring and transient host, Beth Martin. Beth, a pleasure as always. What's the crack?
I don't think I'm as transient these days as you are,
Certainly, but
but
we are
that's
certainly
okay.
both recurring. I think recurring is the most.
Yeah, whether people want it or not, we're here.
That's true. The most correct word I've used in these, But yeah. How are you?
I'm good. So I don't know if you remember me obsessing about this. I think I'm going to New York to see a Broadway show.
Hell yeah. Oh,
Yes. So
I'm excited.
I've been obsessing about this. It's a new to Broadway play. It's called Oh Mary, and it's based on Mary Todd Lincoln
hmm
a few days before the death of Abraham Lincoln, but it's like told by this person named Cola Scola who wrote the play and was like, I just want to be able to wear like amazing costumes and like a super bratty wig
hmm
and just run around being bitchy.
I I saw him on like Seth Meyers or something like that in the costume, and it was just amazing. Like he was just like, and it was like, how much did you know about Mary Todd? Like, and he goes, basically nothing.
Yeah,
And
he was
I'm
like,
like,
I actively forgot things because it's
so
dangerous for
good.
the audience. Like, he's like, I didn't want people to be like, that's funny because that's where she was born. Haha,
Yeah.
right? So there I've been watching other clips and it's been like it got amazing reviews and like I think it was Steven Spielberg and Sally Field
hmm
who were actually like he directed Abraham and she played Mary Todd
Oh,
Lincoln.
uh-huh.
And they started that like I've been following the page on Instagram and like they went to the show. I think have I talked about it on pod? I
No,
probably
I don't think
have.
so. Well, we talked about it a
Okay.
little bit, but this is a lot of new information.
Yeah, so like they went and Cola Scola was like, I'm so sorry. And Steven Spielberg was like, I wrote the wrong movie. So,
Amazing.
but Cola Scola is basically like, I wrote this play as if Mary Todd Lincoln was like an alcoholic,
hmm
human being who really wants to be a cabaret star. And so this whole premise is just like blowing my mind. Um, like when I want to laugh, I watch that Seth Meyers clip.
Yes,
Everyone should go look up Seth Meyers, Mary Todd Lincoln, please, right now,
it was very funny.
on your TikToks, on your Instagrams, and check it out because it's freaking hilarious. But they extended it once, and I was like, ooh, and then they extended it again, so it's extended through January, and I was like, what if they don't extend it again? And I know I'm never gonna meet Mudang, the Thai
It's
pygmy
true.
hippo, because she's only on exhibit now 1 day a week. We can talk about her another time, but I could feasibly go see this show,
Yeah,
and I'm gonna do it.
hell
So
yeah.
I know.
Amazing. That's
And I
gonna be
love
great.
New York, and I've got family there
Yeah,
in that area, so we'll see what happens. But
good.
all I know is I'm going to Broadway, Andy.
Hell yeah, finally.
I know.
At last. It's your destiny.
It is my destiny.
No, I'm really glad that's gonna be happening. Good, good, because I know we were talking about that before.
Uh-huh.
Uh good. Yeah,
And
so
I'm going with my mom
oh
because
nice.
I was like, "Do you want to go to Broadway with me?" And she's like, "Yes." So
Amazing.
it's
Great. That's
happening.
gonna be
I know.
fantastic. Um so okay. So
What's the crack with you?
with me is I was talking to Beth a little bit about this before the podcast. I did go and see The Substance, which I very much enjoyed. It was not as fucked up as I'd hoped it was going to be.
Damn it.
I'm not like an Edgelord. I don't need like fucking really hardcore shit. But I think I just had different expectations of the sort of movie it was. But it was fantastic. It was actually pretty funnier than I thought it was going to be. But yeah, a really excellent film and really kind of surprising to me that it's in like such wide release as well. You know, it's one of those sorts of things. Um, but yeah, really enjoyed that. The other thing is like I have started back doing pet therapy since I came back from my trip, and one of my all-time favorite exchanges happened last week with one of the kids, where they said to me, just apropos of nothing, out of the blue, Andy, do you like Weezer? And I'm like, yeah, I do. And they're like, you look like you like Weezer. So I went from being delighted because I was like, yeah, do you like Weezer to being quite offended at that comment. Like it did make me laugh. Um, but just a real gamut of emotions in terms of my Weezer fandom. Um, and then, it led to a larger conversation where they had told me that they were learning some Weezer. They play drums and they were learning some Weezer because it was like pretty straightforward to learn. And like
I
I
think that's
then
probably where most drummers start
I feel like that makes
as
sense. So like
kids, is
some
probably
like
Weezer.
Green Day or something like that, something that's fairly straightforward.
Yeah. May not Led Zeppelin.
Not Led Zeppelin, no. And they I was inquired a bit more about it, and then they were learning them, as I say, because they were wanted to like play some stuff. I then also made it's correct for me, but it really sounded like what's the word I'm looking pretentious, which was I really like their older stuff. I only really like their older stuff. And it's true, but I sounded like such an asshole. It made the whole situation even worse in my mind. I was like, yeah, I like Weezer, but only their older stuff. So yeah.
I'm not that hip, or I am too hip. I am too hip.
Yeah, too
Yeah.
hip. Yeah. I
You know,
think
go
uh-huh.
ahead.
No, I was gonna say, like, it definitely is the case for like a lot of groups. Like, I don't, like, Foo Fighters, the first couple of albums I quite enjoyed, and then I think it goes off a sharp cliff. Whereas I know a lot of people would strongly disagree with that opinion. And there's definitely a few other acts like that as well. But it does feel like even if it's true, the most kind of wanky possible opinion that you can have.
I had something really nice happen. I had this friend I haven't talked to in forever.
Mhm.
Like I just got a recording, like maybe like a 15-second recording of um the Flaming Lips
Hmm.
and Wayne singing Yoshimi with these like two giant robots on either side.
Yeah.
And it was just like that was it. Like I could tell, like, I'm thinking of you. This is one of our bands, kind of thing. And I wrote my friend back and I was just like, oh, this meant so much. And like, I'm sorry I made you listen to the album over and over and over, whether or not you wanted to. And like they wrote back and they were like, yeah, it was actually we were there to see Weezer, but
Oh,
like this came
interesting.
up. I know, right?
The Weezer
I
connection.
know, and I wasn't like, which band is better?
Yeah.
But which band is better, Andy?
Um, I really like them both, but Weezer has more meaning for me, especially the Blue album. Like it came at the perfect time for me whenever I was like a teenager, didn't know what the hell was going on. Like and there is I don't know if you remember the song In My Room,
Oh, I do.
and all the references
I
were.
feel safe. No one come. Yes, I know every word.
And all the references to like comic book stuff and music and everything, and it just so like resonated with me. So like, yeah, it's just yeah, that's.
I think it's in my garage, not my room.
Oh, is it in my garage? You could be right.
In my garage, I feel safe. No one
Okay,
comes to.
looking at my past. Hold on.
Okay, look in your mind palace. Yeah, so I saw Weezer, but
Yeah, in the
Tenacious
garage,
D
right?
opened for them. Yeah. Huh. Who's a bigger fan?
Damn
Who's a
it.
bigger nerd? Who's right? But I saw Weezer, but Tenacious D opened,
Uh-huh.
and
Nice.
it was like it's like getting like a thunderclap in front of your face and
Yeah,
then
I'll
like
bet.
watching the ocean waves,
Yeah.
like, right? You're just kind of like they're it was one was so epically full of energy, and like Jack Black was in full Jack Black, like I don't think he's ever not in full Jack Black, so
Yeah.
it was really good. It was a great show. And then Weezer came on and they weren't like they
They
didn't
don't
say like hello Portland. They didn't acknowledge us. They just started playing and it was kind of like, okay,
they don't have the
do they
same
know we're
energy.
here?
Yeah, they don't have the same sort of energy. That is an odd combo, honestly. It really is. Yeah, I can't quite see how you wouldn't be disappointed in Weezer after
Right.
that, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
But
yeah,
they
yeah,
played like the sweater song, which I love. So
yeah. Like they do have some great songs, and also like "Say It Ain't So" is my all-time favorite karaoke song. So like from that point of view as well. But like I'm thinking here now. I like as much as I would say I probably prefer Weezer to Flaming Lips. I have never seen Weezer live, but I have seen Flaming Lips live at least once, if not twice. So I just made a liar of myself. Apparently, I am a bigger Flaming Lips fan.
I mean, I saw the Flaming Lips live, and like it was the most disappointing experience of my life.
Oh, interesting. It is.
Other than going to see Snoop Dogg and having him not show up, like
Oh,
those are my two like,
feels like some
yeah.
classic Snoop shit.
Like
Like,
Wayne was going through a breakup, so he just held this like fake baby the whole time and like cried and sang
oh
at it.
God. I mean, like that seems like a very kind of on brand thing for him to do.
Yeah.
In fairness.
Yeah. This is how
Um,
I feel today.
yeah. I do quite like how much he wears his emotions on his sleeve. So,
Yes,
like
it's true.
it is interesting. Like some of my favorite bands, like I think I've seen Queens of the Stone Age quite a few times, but I think that nearly every one of their shows has been pretty disappointing. There's like one I remember that was excellent, but by and large, they're just kind of and it's not always been their fault. It's been like sound issues and things like that. But yeah, hasn't dented my fandom.
There you go.
All right, okay. I feel like
So,
I've been talking for about bands for too
no, it's good.
long.
I like it. When we come full circle and I'm right, it was worth the time.
I don't know. I may disagree on that. Okay. Time to move on to what's occurring. Do you have any?
Mm, no.
Okay, I
I was
do
going to
have.
talk about Spotify videos, but we'll see what's coming with
Okay,
that.
will we touch on that in a future episode?
Yeah.
I do have an Andy's down with the streets, and
Ooh,
it's one that kind of led me down. So it's a one a friend of ours suggested it to me, and it's an interesting one because they sent it to me with an explanation, and then I researched it, and I went a bit down a bit of a kind of rabbit hole. So the word is haunting, and I think we have on the surface an idea of what haunting is, which is like something that maybe stays with you in a kind of unsettling. Excuse me.
my dog haunts me.
Yes,
You know, she haunted you when you were here.
that's true. She she does just kind of
And
appear as like a horror movie.
yeah. No, she just like follows you around, but like with a sad, mournful look on her
She
face.
does,
Like she
it's
knows
true.
she's about to miss out on like something, and it's the
Everything.
best thing at everything. But like
I
she'll follow me today. I'm like taking a shit on the toilet, right? And like I'm not allowed to close the doors because kids. And like when
yeah,
you were here, I did obviously because guest. But
yeah,
she like peeks her head in and like I was like, what? And she just like is staring at me and I'm like, I literally am like, stop haunting me.
yeah, that
You're
that feels
haunting me. Please, please.
that feels right. Like I remember like even because I sat down to on a yoga mat in your living room and sat down cross-legged and she immediately got into the space where I crossed, it's just like right there.
Yes.
Hi friend, you're down at the same height as me. Let's hang out. She's a sweetheart though, I love her.
Okay. Okay.
Uh,
Keep going with
okay,
your
sorry, haunting.
down
Yes,
with
I'm
the
getting
street.
distracted. So, right, the
You're like dog, squirrel.
dogs. The initial sort of explanation of haunting I was given was involved someone actively trying to make someone else's life worse because they felt they needed to be punished. So that's a
So it's
kind
like,
of
huh.
updated version of haunting in terms of like what it means in modern terms. However, looked into it a little bit more,
Okay.
and it is connected to the concept of ghosting, right? So if, for example, you ghost somebody, but then you reappear in their life in a sort of like vaguer way. So say, for example, you follow them on Instagram and you like some of their posts, that would be haunting after you ghost somebody.
That is
So,
that's pretty darn accurate.
isn't it?
It's
Uh,
creep. Have you been haunted before?
um, I don't think so. No. Like I get like certainly my experience with relationships tends to be like a kind of uh, just slash all contact altogether. Do you know what I mean? I just walk away. So slash and burn is my sort of technique in past relationships. So there hasn't even been the angle to because like I've blocked them sometimes, and also I am. older now, so it's only kind of been a thing over the past, couple of my relationships, really.
I'm older now and less immature, less mature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it has maybe evened out with variety of things to be about as mature as I ever was.
That's so great. I like it.
Yeah, it was a nice one.
I'm like,
So yeah,
do I haunt anybody? I don't think I do.
I think it feels more targeted. Do you know what I mean? Like, I
Mhm.
certainly based on what when I was looking into it. So if you're like specifically like in certain things, um, I think now I think about it, I feel like there has been some stuff in my life. But anyway, I'm not gonna get into it. But yeah,
No, no.
so it's
That
interesting to
could be
see it.
another topic.
Another topic for another time. So yeah, haunting. Um, so yeah, that's all I've got for what's occurring this week. So yeah, we're going to get into this week's topic. Beth, give me the title for this one.
I picked Andy's road trip Foie la Deux.
Yeah.
I'm pretty proud. It
It's
came to me like
excellent.
right away
It's
because we were
really
talking
good.
about, yeah, all the negative reviews for the Joker Foie la Deux. So
Yeah, so it's basically the movie of the year, future Oscar winner, Joker,
possibly,
Joker 2, Folie à Deux. So it's named after that because we still have stuff we wanted to talk about from the trip and my trip,
yeah,
I
we
should
only
say.
got halfway through
Yeah,
your trip. We were like recorded halfway through your trip.
we did. So we
So,
still have some fun stuff to talk about.
yes. And
Uh,
and
uh
it's easy.
No, we don't. We're not telling them
Oh, right.
that.
Sorry. You're like, I don't have to prep.
Yeah,
I was
no,
like,
no,
me
no. Shh, shh,
neither.
shh, shh. It was really hard. I did loads of work for this. I mean, I did do a decent amount of work. So yes, okay. So we're just gonna break down a little bit about some of the things that happened. I have some particular stories about the past few days, some stuff that Beth doesn't know. Um, Nothing super interesting, but like no sexy results, et cetera, et
That's
cetera.
okay. With
Uh,
sexy results.
yeah, that's still my favorite. Again, one of my favorite Simpsons bits, just Marge underlining sexy results three times. It's fantastic. Um, okay, so first thing I want to talk about, it actually happened at Wednesday that we after we recorded, which was, and this is just a wee bit of an insight into people about what San Diego's like in a way, because I feel like people have an idea of San Diego in their heads, and there's like a different kind of reality to it, which is that, okay, so we went, beautiful day, what got to be 80, 90 degrees. Headed to San Diego. As you approach San Diego, there's a big sort of looming cloud that you see in the distance, and called the marine layer, right?
Yeah.
And you head into the marine layer, and
You
it's
go
not.
down into
You
it. It's
do
like
go
you're
down
like,
into it, yeah.
yeah, you're leaving blue sky and sunshine.
You descend slowly into the marine layer, and like it's not cold, certainly not by our standards over here, but it's like significantly cooler, and just this kind of layer of mist that apparently like hangs out there a lot of the time, doesn't it?
Yeah. Like I would say, oh, 50, somewhere between 50 and 70% of the time. Like
Yeah,
we drove down, not all the way down, but like part of the way, enough where it's like there's a point at which you can see out. It's like 15 minutes from our house, and
yeah,
you hit this point, you're like, okay, you can either see the ocean or you can see this cloud
yeah,
that is where the ocean is, probably. If it's a good day. And then you're like, oh shit, what plans did we make? Or like, oh good, we're not going all the way down into that.
yeah.
So yeah, we took you to the beach.
Oh yeah, I did. We did. I like it was a lovely beach, and it was nice to check it out. As I say, and I've been to San Diego very briefly before, but like more than 20 years ago. But I'm pretty certain the kind of general world view San Diego would be sunny and hot all the time,
Yeah,
but it's just
like
not the case.
yeah, people assume it's like Baywatch.
Yeah.
And
But
there was like we were like it was us and these like angry seagulls, and then
yes,
we the porpoises did come out,
yeah.
or the dolphins. There were
Hmm.
like, two pods of dolphins and like all these sea lions that were like waving, literally waving at
They were
Andy.
very exciting, enchanting.
Yeah, but it was definitely like cold. I was wearing pants.
Yeah.
and a sweatshirt.
And I regretted, like, I really was like, I'll be fine. I didn't bring any warm clothes and kind of regretted it later, but it was fine once we kind of got moving. Um, but it was just, I say, just instructive and very interesting, but still a lovely day out. So there was that. Then the kind of next sort of major thing that we did, because we just had a chill day on Thursday, was we had another day into San Diego. This day, a lot sunnier, a lot warmer, very different. We started off probably the closest I'll ever get to visit Mecca, I'd say, for me,
Think
which is
so, yeah.
we went to the Comic Con Museum,
Da-da,
which is very
da-da.
exciting.
I know.
Um so it was great just because like, and it's something we've talked about before. I would really love to get to Comic Con itself eventually, someday, maybe. So it was exciting
I
to
thought
see
you went,
this.
didn't you go in 2017?
No, I've told you this is stolen valor. I'm actually wearing a Comic Con t-shirt. Right? It says Comic Con
He bought
2017
they sell like, like they've got like additional stock. And so
old
he
merch.
like comes running up and he's like, "Do you think that this will fit?" And I was like, "Yeah, but it's like a Comic-Con shirt from 2017
Uh-huh,
that he got
uh-huh.
for 9.99
Exactly. I mean, like at those
American plus
prices,
tax." I know, you
well,
can't
yeah,
say
plus
no.
tax. At those prices,
Going
how could I say no?
mhm.
And I say I will very much love, labeling it a stolen valor when people ask me if I've been there. Um, but like,
No.
no, of course I was there. But it was great actually being in. Like, and it was. So this is it's part of a larger sort of area in San Diego called Balboa Park that has like 12, no, possibly more, both sort of exhibition spaces and museums and things like that. It's really cool. So we saw a fraction of it. Comic-Con has an ongoing standing museum.
And they
Um,
changed the stuff.
they
Like
do.
when I was there, it was like completely different inventory of amazing things. So
We had, I mean, like, I think like there was basically just a section on uh
action figures.
action figures and superhero powers. And my favorite was so like, it kind of went through a lot of like common superhero powers and who had them. My favorite superhero power that came up was Beam. Just like that's a power. So like, your Cyclops, that's the only one that really matters. Your Cyclops, your Captain Marvel, things like that have beam powers. Um, and there was also like a selection of costumes, actual costumes from some of the movies, which is very cool to see, and also some sort of like of the higher end cosplay outfits that people wore to Comic Con, which is very cool as well. And there was also a Betty Boo exhibit.
Like Betty Boop everywhere. And like all the iterations and generations of Betty Boop. And it was a lot. I'm not gonna lie. It was a lot of red
And Beth
and
and I were
black and
both kind of
white.
like, ugh, Betty
Eh.
Boo. Ugh. So yeah, but still it was cool and it was nice to see and it was nice to kind of be in there. They have like I guess some stuff that stays in there a lot, a really cool kind of Batman statue in the lobby, some other kind of bits and pieces. But yeah, it was nice to check it out.
Yeah.
Um we then met one of our dear friends and went to who lives in San Diego and went to the Midway. The
The
Midway?
Midway. Yeah, it's the Midway. So
Okay.
it's an aircraft carrier that was decommissioned in like 1997, and then in the 2000s they opened it up and allowed the public in as
Hmm.
it's like a floating museum basically. So it's like it's hard to give you the idea of scale, right?
Hmm.
It's just like it's a big aircraft carrier.
It's kind of insane, honestly, like just how big it is. And like us, we kind of like, as part of the tour, went through probably just a fraction of it.
Yeah.
And it was vast. And it was like you could have got lost in there so easily. Um, but so fascinating to see. Like I always find this sort of stuff, um, especially things on that scale, like, that humans put this together and it was
Yeah.
operational and blah, blah, blah. It's such a fascinating thing. So it was very cool indeed.
Yeah, I think I gave us like 3 hours just
Yep.
to want like wander around and check it out. And so you get to go, I think we went to almost every level, but
Yeah.
like you get to see like the brig and like the engineers area, which is like so loud and I can't imagine sleeping in that.
Yeah.
And the cafeterias and you can see like kind of the ranking of officer based on their living accommodations and who
Hmm.
has their own private chefs and who eats in the main cafeteria
Yeah.
right when you come down the stairs.
Who has to share a four-tier bunk? Is it four or three tiers? Can't remember. Yeah, it's pretty much.
In the engineers section there were four, but like the very top bunk, they had me, I mean the clearance. They granted they worked them like 12 hours a day, like shift wise. And so
Nuts.
you're like always moving. I'm sure like everyone, was super fit because otherwise I don't know how they were going to fit in those bunks.
Yeah,
And
so
like you don't want to
true.
be over six feet tall.
Getting to the top bunk because like I got into the mid bunk for a photo
Uh-huh.
op and it was tough to get in out of it. It's like I could see you injuring yourself a lot. But yeah, really very cool, very very fun stuff. Uh, I feel like it is important to note that I did wear my Utilikilt.
And you
I
got
did.
two
I
compliments.
did get to. One was a drive-by compliment as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And like
So
the other was like the guy, that you walk into like whatever exhibit and they're like, "Would you like a photo?"
yeah,
And I was like, "Yeah, Andy's wearing his kilt." And he was like, I didn't say that, but the guy was like, "I really like your kilt, man."
it was
It's
a
like,
stray. I was
yeah.
like, yes. I was like,
Yeah.
thanks, man.
Uh,
Um, but yeah, so that was just a really fantastic day. It was lovely. It was just a really fun hang. It was just like that day was just great kind of throughout, really, wasn't
mhm.
it?
Yeah, we went for appetizers like right on the
We
ocean.
did.
And
We
then
had a
I
lovely
took you
meal.
to my favorite restaurant in the world.
Um, so right, and here's like I maybe a sidebar, something to talk about because so right, uh tipping, US
Yeah.
tipping culture, right. So okay, so I it's always baffling to me, and there's like a certain amount of uncertainty to it that really kind of stresses me out. Whatever way my card worked,
Did did,
I
did the tip not go through?
no. And I
Oh,
was
okay.
really upset about that because especially in the last place we went to, the staff were so nice to us and I really kind of like wanted to give them a nice tip and I had, written a nice tip on there. But like it's one of the things that like I mean, uh, uh I wanted to get your kind of thoughts on kind of like tipping, in the US. I don't know how sensitive a topic that is because
No, it's
it feels like it's a crazy thing that people are kind of reliant on it, but also like I feel I understand it and I want to make sure that I kind of like tip them properly. But often what happens is you give them your card, they run through the main bill, and you write on a tip afterwards. So like almost that they have a kind of authorization on your card for like 12 hours, 24 hours, which in and of itself, I would almost rather them go back, take the tip off it straight away so that I know that it's happening. Because, as it stands, that feels like it's rife for like credit card fraud and things like that. It felt and it happened to me a few times then. Whenever I left you and I was in LA and I paid a few other times and I left the tip and it didn't come off either. And I was just a bit frustrated because especially when people were nice to me and I'm like, I want to make sure that you're tipped properly. But yeah, it was an interesting one.
so I mean, credit, some places don't accept I guess I was sitting here and I'm like, this is really simple. And then I'm like, no, I guess it's not. There are certain places that gratuity, it's called like tipping or gratuity, is included in the
Yeah,
bill. Some places maybe you added a tip, but that's not something that they accept because it's already built in and they already like pay their people whatever percentage more, but generally it's 20% of
yeah,
whatever the total amount was. Um so but there are restaurants and places, yeah, that don't accept or basically like build it in. And I just read, I think I told you this. This is off topic, but it's interesting. Like we went to In-N-Out Burger,
hmm
um, and I was like telling Andy that they make 17 an hour, all
Yeah,
fast food employees in this in California, not in the States, but in California. And they I got my voters pamphlet finally. And one of the new things is that they want to raise that rate to 22 an hour.
awesome.
Yeah,
That's good,
which I
as it
was
should
like,
be. Yeah,
I know.
because
So,
that's one of the areas where there's isn't really any tipping isn't fast food restaurants.
not really no. Not unless you have cash.
But yeah, it's just and as I say, like I really like I don't like the ambiguity, and as I say, like as this and I think like having knowing that that's how my card works now, I think in the future I'm going to just make sure either I have cash for tips or whatever because I would just rather I know what the score is, I know what's happening, I know it's like done.
The hummingbird is right outside the window.
Nice.
Sorry.
It's quite all
I have
right.
this hummingbird that follows me around and checks on me.
I think it's
It's the
become
same
like
one.
a recurring character, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Love
Okay.
it. Okay. So moving on, the next sort of thing that we
Can we
did,
just talk about the restaurant?
we can. Okay, yes. Hold on, I may have to let my
So,
dog out. Sorry,
let
Beth.
the
Talk
dog
about the
out. So
restaurant
I'm
for a
just
sec.
going to talk
Yeah,
about the
okay,
restaurant.
bye a
So,
sec.
go, go, go. So, world, hello. I'm actually going to tell Andy's deepest, darkest secret. Just kidding. So this restaurant is like right in the flight for anyone who likes Wayne's World. It's like your ultimate dream fantasy. I told him your deepest, darkest secret, Andy.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
It's
So
I'm
it's
glad it's
basically
out
like
there.
I know, there you go. So it's like the Wayne's World fantasy because they have an outdoor seating area where
Oh
like
yeah.
all these planes come literally, it's directly in the flight path.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
you start guessing. You're like, I bet it's Delta. I bet it's Southwest. I bet it's United, right? As you're eating and all the jet fuel is falling on your food, and
So
you're just like,
nice.
yeah. So, and the food's really good. So, and the
It is
staff
really
is
good.
lovely. Yeah. Yeah. So, and we got there and they were like, it's happy hour for 10 more minutes. And if you have like a sip of your cocktail, you can order another one right now. Or like,
Yeah.
yes, we're going to do that. So they're
Why
just like
not?
super cool. I know
Yeah.
exactly.
It was such a great place. But yeah, just a lovely day, lovely night, all in all.
Mhm.
Um,
Next time I go, I'll double tip and tell
yeah,
them that
yeah.
yeah, I'll make it right. It's
Thanks.
fine.
I feel so
Yeah.
bad. I really did feel bad. It's, I think especially that one because like they were so nice to us, and I was just wanted to make sure they were tipped nicely. But anyway, it is what it is. Um, okay, so then next day we had a birthday party, which was pretty
We
rad.
did.
It, it's interesting because I had a conversation with somebody about this recently. It was a great day. Just really lovely. Met some parents that were really nice. It was like a cool energy to be around. I said to Beth, what was so lovely about it was that I got to be around it, but I had no responsibility for any of the children, which is super nice. Um, so yeah, it was just really cool. But I was talking to a friend. There's something else I want to talk about specifically, but I was talking to a friend about this afterwards, and we were talking about Christmas recently, and we were talking about how it's just like it becomes less exciting as you get older. And I said that like what was so lovely was seeing seeing your son open all of his gifts. And it was just great to be there for that. It was so nice. And it just kind of reminded me of the joy of like what I used to love about Christmas when I was a kid and things like that and what made Christmas special. So yeah, it was just great energy to be around. Um, the other key thing that we need to talk about was that we had a really bitchin' pinata. Charlie had
It
a
was like it was a huge Lego
oh, so it was I
piñata.
think it was Woody Clum from the Lego Movie. I forget his name.
Uh Maybe check your mind garden. It's like Steve, John. No, I can't remember.
Uh,
Um Emmett.
Emmett, thank you.
Emmett.
Yeah. So
So it was, but like it was a birthday party for an 8-year-old.
uh-huh.
Emmett was the size of an 8-year-old.
Yes, he was massive, like he was so big.
So our friends have family that live in Mexico and build like basically like whatever piñata you could ever hope for.
Hmm.
She's like the weirdest one we'd made was a school bus.
Amazing.
Can you imagine how big that one was?
Oh wow.
Then I don't even know how they get those up here because it's so big. And they bought two for their kids' birthdays.
Uh-huh.
But they're like they were so like they had one birthday party because their birthdays are so close together. So they were just like, "Do you want a piñata for yours?" And I was like, "Yes." So like the kids knocked it around a little bit, and then, and then everyone's like, "We got to get Lucky Charms up there."
Is that what they said? I don't think I heard me call Lucky Charms. How
Yeah,
dare
you
they?
were being called Lucky Charms. No,
And
and
it
like,
was
I got some photos sent, and they were like, "Show these to Lucky Charms." So,
I need to get those
so it was
photos.
funny. I know. I'll send them. And I have a
Do.
video too, but it's like
Oh,
really
do.
poor quality. So I gotta get it sent a different way. So
Okay.
like in the Spanish culture, you'll put a blindfold on.
Hmm.
There's a song that gets sung. Depending on, which culture and which family, like you
Okay.
can sometimes spin the person around. So Andy had all this done, and then you've got to like try and hit this piñata when you're dizzy and like, you know, listening to the piñata. So our friend actually speaks Spanish and she was singing the actual like piñata songs. You got like the full
It was
real
pretty.
version of being, yeah, the
It was.
person hitting Emmett with a giant metal bat.
It also needs to be said that like Mike was holding it up and he was like far enough away, but not like so far away that he was completely out of the danger zone.
No, he definitely
So
got hit at
I
least
know I
once.
was very worried about doing that. Like I mean, like the fucking Lego pinata guy got fucked up. Like I think half of his leg was hanging off by the time I got there.
Yeah,
But it was very satisfying, very cathartic, I must say.
yeah.
So like
One of the kids took the leg home and has been wearing it as a hat.
amazing,
And
really.
so I keep
So
getting
good.
photos of her wearing it, yeah, at breakfast and working on science projects and eating dinner.
That's so funny. I love it.
So yeah. And I have a
Uh,
good one of Mike like hitting it, and it's like the before and the after. It's like two shots and you can see Emmett's face going from Emmett's face to like nothing.
it's like caved in. Amazing.
It totally caved in. It's so sad and gross and amazing all at once. So
That's
yeah.
fantastic. I love it.
Uh-huh.
Um, yeah,
That's
so that's good.
sweet what you said about Charlie opening his presents.
Yeah.
Because like I forget to kind of be like I watched him blow out his candle.
Hmm.
Like, and I didn't take video. I just watched it and I
Yep,
watched like I think you did too.
I did.
And he like, you know, he's of the COVID generation. He also wants to go by Charles now, he's decided,
Okay.
because he's all grown up. So I was like,
Okay.
that's fine. Um, so but it's like he didn't know what to, it's like his greatest dream had come true,
Hmm.
and everyone was watching him in that moment and he didn't know what to do with his body, but like he
Yeah.
was so like he was like vibrating, it was so excited. And it was just like, because this fucking birthday party, man, like it almost didn't happen. We had to cancel it because
Yeah.
Mike had COVID. I didn't think anybody was going to come. I thought two kids
Yeah.
were going to come, and like I don't know, like 8 or 10 showed up. So just the fact that like, and then Mike the next day was like, I really actually had way better time than I thought I would. And I was
Oh,
like,
did he? I didn't
fuck
hear him.
yeah, he
Yeah,
did.
that's
Yeah, yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
Good. I
So it
didn't
was
hear that.
like, I know. So I was like, all right, like I know it was a pain in the ass, but like it totally happened and it worked out really, really
I
well.
like even the parents and stuff that I was talking to had a blast as well. So it
Yeah.
was great. It really was.
Yeah. I
So
think
yeah.
it's because our one of our friends showed up with a bottle of mezcal, but
That definitely helped. Yeah.
I know, I know.
That was a great day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anything else we want to talk about that day? I think we're most of the
No,
pertinent
I mean, we went
stuff.
to the flea market, but that's like its
Oh
own.
yeah.
Uh, there's a really
Yeah.
good flea market. That's all.
Yeah, it was good
It's
fun. It
really
was good
big.
fun.
Yeah.
I really
Andy
have
got a
just
hat and
and several
some,
pairs of sunglasses
yes.
and some what do they call the things that you put in your Crocs?
Oh,
Widgets?
I have no idea.
There's
I
a
don't
term
know.
for them. I got some of those as well. Just a
Yeah.
very, very productive
Use of
day at
time
the
and
flea
money.
market. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Um yeah. So then the next day we went to Legoland, which
That's
was
right.
what what's the name of the area that was in
Carlsbad?
Carlsbad? That was it. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
trying to
So
figure that out.
it's like an hour north of us. So it's not that far,
Hmm.
but going from like 104 degrees to like 73 degrees. It was kind of like marine. It's on the ocean, so we were back in the marine
Yeah.
layer. So it was like cold and I don't know, Mizzle,
Hmm.
Drizzle,
Yep, yep,
Misty.
yep.
Uh, what did you think of Legoland?
I really enjoyed it. I mean, like, and what I loved more than anything was like the amount of Lego that was available. The store was insane. Like, it was really nice. We went on like, it was fun seeing the worlds, fun seeing how they did various things. Like some of the constructions in there are incredible, truly staggering. Like there was one from Ninjago that was just fantastic. There was this
Is that yeah,
the
it's
big water thing and the building on
like
top of it.
temple with a
Yeah,
wave. Yeah.
and there was like this kind of multicolored bull. Just how it was done was absolutely fantastic. But like it was the selection of stuff in the store was mind blowing. And like they had some sets. Like the one that I was like trying in my head to figure out can I make this work was the Jaws set,
Yeah.
which was
Yeah.
just fantastic.
Yeah.
And it was just
Because it's like
basically
it's the ending of the
it
movie.
is. So it's like the boat is like half capsized, Jaws is coming out of the water, and all the dudes, all our favorite guys are on the boat, like panicking. It's really great. Um, so yeah, it was just really fantastic.
Got
So it was,
yeah, the barrels on the front, the
hmm
harpoons, like
hmm
yeah. I also looked at that and was like, I would totally get that.
yeah, really
And I
great.
walked out with literally nothing.
Yeah, I what did I get? I got like there's like there was these D&D
Yeah.
sets, so I got a
Which one did you
D&D.
get? Oh, you got
It's
okay,
a
there.
tiefling, yeah, it's a tiefling with a dragon,
I was
and
hoping I would get Jonathan, but I didn't.
no, I know that would be nice. Um,
I got the Scarlet Wizard.
oh yes, I saw that one as well. It looked nice.
Mm.
I should have got a few more, but I got that. I got some from my sister, but it was nice. Um, but yeah, that was just a good day. I then that was the one we had to say goodbye after that.
Yeah. We dropped you
Uh,
off in Oceanside
yeah,
outside of Domino's
see
Pizza.
ya. Yeah,
Way.
got a pizza. No, I didn't.
Literally did that. It's a shuttle. It's where the shuttle
Yeah,
gets
exactly.
it's just like, yeah.
There was like
It's felt weird.
there was like a Jersey Mike's over the way, and I was like, I was gonna ask, can I get Jersey Mike's before I get on here? But I did. I thought that would have been pushing my luck a wee bit. Um, went to LA, so I ended up staying with a friend in LA. It was so like, I went to so it's a guy that I'd stayed with before, and I think I've talked to you a little bit about this. So it was a friend, or it was his brother who had like connected me with him, and I'd only met Andreas a handful of times. And I went to Marcus's house, and Andreas was there, and I was like, "Whoa, what are you doing here?" And he's like, he's now living there, so it was nice just to catch up with them. We played a few
That's
card
so
games and stuff.
great.
Yeah, so it was lovely, and it was interesting because like I'd been there a few years ago and seeing like how different it was because like Marcus is now like building like a whole house, like a second sort of house out the back of his house and everything. So it was like both this week sort of swell of nostalgia, but also like interesting to see how different it is now. Um,
Hmm.
so it was lovely. It was good to catch up with him, have a chat with him. Then and it was great also to pick his brains because he was able to like give me like because I was like I've got a bit of time tomorrow morning. I want to do a hike. He gave me some advice for a hike I could do. So I've got a little bit of a story about that hike. So he recommended this place, and it was like a 5 mile loop. Um, and
Is it
I
like
went,
up in in the hills?
yeah, I'm gonna find the exact name of it, but
Is it Laurel
no,
Canyon?
it's not one I had ever heard of before, but it was it was Claremont Wilderness Park.
Okay.
I don't know if you saw a video I put up on
I
Instagram.
did. I
Yeah,
did.
so it was beautiful. It kind of took you up into the mountains a little bit. So it was like quite vertical. So like I set off in this and it's like great, really looking forward to this. I had had like a diner dinner, so a couple of cups of coffee, nice sort of big sort of filling breakfast. Set off in this hike, and there was like every half mile there was a marker saying, you know, like this is how far you are. So like 2 miles in, and so close to halfway there, and my stomach starts cramping a wee bit, and I'm like, oh no.
Uh-huh.
I'm
Uh-huh.
like, oh God, okay, right.
Breakfast.
Okay, so let me think about this. how bad is this? Can I hold this in for like another 3 miles? I like walked another half mile, cramping and cramping. I was like, oh no, this is coming. There's nothing I can do. So had to, and this was like not ultra busy, but a relatively busy track.
Did you have your travel toilet paper?
No. No, I
Okay.
did have a couple of spare tissues, thankfully, but it was a nightmare, and it was just kind of like, oh God, this sucks. And like, so like it happened, and better. So my options, and like again, this is I have just showered like an hour or so earlier, and I am setting up to get on a plane that night. I won't have another shower for like 48 hours probably with all the travel I'm doing. So I'm like, fuck. I'm like, shitting myself is not an option here. I have to shit at the side of a track, and also I'm like seeing like all these signs of mountain lions around, blah blah blah, and like I don't know any of the like flora and fauna and what sort of creatures are
Yeah.
about
Well,
that are
and there's
going.
like in that area, there's no trees or like cover. You
No,
can't like duck behind anything
I was able
because
to
there's
like
nothing.
go down a hill a wee bit and get a bit of cover, and I like there was nobody in the immediate direction either way, and I was like, this just has to happen, and then I just have to like walk away from it as quickly as possible. But it was just fucking disaster. So anyway, it was fine. I got to the car park. There was like some half-assed toilets. I was able to do that. I was able to then go to a juice bar afterwards, have an entirely different set of clothes in my bag, got a juice, went into the toilet, came out in completely different clothes. So that was fun.
That's that's what Superman was actually doing.
Exactly, yeah, just shitting himself on the side of a track. But it was
Changing.
yeah, but it was apart from that a beautiful way to start my day, and really stunning walk. It really was so nice, exactly what I was looking for. Um, I then had it like so like something I had forgotten and I'd meant to do was like I'd say generally like clothes are like so much cheaper in the US than over here. So like I hit a Target, got a pair of shorts, got a pair of trousers, things like that. Just like did a quick sort of like, right, okay, I've got a wee bit of cash left over here. Let's get some stuff that I'd be needing to get. Um, and then went to my favorite cinema chain, um, called the Alamo Draft House. Some of you may know what it is. Most of you probably don't. It's like this sort of chain of theaters. I think they first started in the 90s, believe it or not, but they were the first ones to kind of do the whole sort of full food service and full like drink service in a cinema. So they have really refined the process. They've got like a full like a light that just shoots directly down so you can like hold the menu underneath. It's not going on the screen. Like you can like you've got a little button you can press, it'll come and if you've got any more orders and things like that. Um One of my first experiences ever there, I got like three freshly baked chocolate chip cookies that was just absolutely fantastic. But this time, so I'd been talking to Beth a lot about how I kind of needed, and it was a need, it was not a want to have a churro whenever I was away. I did get one in Legoland and it was nice. And then on the lead up to my trip there, I was going through the menu and I was like, whoa, churro popcorn? So I had like, and like, so they basically give you, I would say, a large metal mixing bowl of popcorn. So I had that, I had a stout, and I went to see the Saturday Night Live movie.
He was like, check this out on the menu. It's been nice knowing you. It was like all you can eat or something.
Yeah. So I found out the free refills are only in the basic popcorn, not on that popcorn, sadly. But it
Okay.
was still a shitload of popcorn. Like it lasted me almost at the end of the movie.
Jesus.
But yeah, the SNL movie was great as
Was
well.
it?
Like the guy, one of the reasons why I love that chain so much is like everybody that works there is a fucking nerd as well. So I was like, oh, one for SNL. And he's like, it's really great. I really enjoyed it. He's like, he's like, I'm not a big SNL fan, but I really kind of love these whole sort of a group of people trying to get something together movies. And I'm like, I totally know what you mean. There's a
Yep.
stack of that sort of stuff. Because it isn't really about the sketches or anything like that. It's just basically about the sheer chaos in the lead up to their very first show. And I was also then talking to him about the substance, and he's like, "Oh man, you have to see the substance. And I was like, oh, I love this place. I wish I could go here all the time. Um, but yeah, SNL, I don't even know if because of like Saturday Night Live is known here, but it's not really shown here in any meaningful way. So I don't even know if SNL will get a release over here, unfortunately. So I'm glad I had the opportunity to see it because it was very well done. A lot of real kind of like some really interesting choices for like some of the characters.
Like
George,
casting.
yeah, George Carlin was I forget the guy's name now, but somebody who I would not have thought in a million years would have kind of worked for him. And a lot of other, the younger actors who were like playing like Chevy and things like that were not people that I would recognize, but it was everybody did a really fantastic job. But yeah, great experience, great way to end my trip. But it was like I came out of that and it was over and I was like, oh man, I'm going home now. This sucks.
I
But
know.
say that fate. And and then it was like one of the best sort of experiences you can have in terms of like your return flight, which is that the plane was half empty. So I
Oh,
had a
that's good.
chair beside me, which was fantastic. So, you
Did
know,
I ever tell you that when I flew to Portugal,
hmm
it's either I flew to or from, and they were like, we accidentally sold your seat. And I was
Oh,
like, okay. And they're like, we have to move you to first class. And I was like, okay.
okay.
So that's the best case scenario,
That is the
Andy.
best case scenario. Yeah, okay. I wish. I have one a last thing that happened in the airport actually that I need to tell you about, which made me
What?
very happy, was that I ordered a beer at the airport and they asked to see my ID.
Did they?
Yeah, yes they did. Woo, woo, woo. Okay, so
He's literally raising the roof.
that's probably the last time that's ever going to happen to me in my life. So I'm going to enjoy it. So yeah, that was
I don't
exciting.
remember the last time anyone asked to see my ID.
I, it's definitely been a few years for me, but it has happened in my 40s for sure. But yeah, this is I'm really pushing things now, like 24 years, even in the US from needing to be carded. So yeah, that was nice. So yeah,
Golf
thanks. Thanks
clap.
for the tiny clap. Yeah, yeah, I
Yep,
appreciate
yep,
it.
yep, yep. Good job.
But
Way
that's
to look young.
thank you. That's
It's all that good travel.
it is all I get travel. Um, that's all I've got. Yeah, it was really an amazing trip. I remember texting Beth whenever I came back about how I was kind of bummed out to be home. And um I uh I look
Period.
I am definitely happier a few days into it, but like at first it was just like such a kind of like come down from the kind of like lovely atmosphere I was in, for that trip. So, but it was just uh, as you'd expect from a holiday. I think a lot of the times, I think there's always certainly that period of adjustment of getting renormalizing back into the standard life. But yeah, what a lovely time
It was so much fun.
it was.
And it was
Thank
like
you.
the hardest part. Oh, of course. I mean, come back, obviously. Like I was throwing down the gauntlet, so you have to, it was so fun that you'd have to be like, oh, I want to do more of that.
That's
And
true.
there was like other things, like we would go places and I would be like, right, next time, like I'll take
Yeah,
you there, we'll do that. Like there's so much to do here.
it's true.
And I don't do much of it, you
Yeah,
know?
I hear you.
Like I
I
go to the flea market. I maybe will, do like one of the hikes that we did. I guess I do the Midway pretty frequently
Yeah.
because it's my favorite place ever.
But even our friend who lives in San Diego was like, I've never
I've
done the
never been on
Midway,
the
and she's
yeah,
lived there her whole life. So
yeah,
it's like and I think that's a very common thing for a lot of people who like
yeah,
live close to places. You're like, I'll do it eventually, and you just don't get around to it.
yeah. Mike took the kids to Legoland on Friday night.
Oh, did he? Nice. Wow.
Yeah, because we took Andy. Mike was like, if I'm paying all this money, we might as well just have like a season pass.
Yeah,
And I have a love-hate relationship with Legoland. I love the store. I don't love the rest of it
I
basically.
can
But
understand that.
they went, it's called Brick or Treat.
Hmm.
get
Yes.
it because we love trick-or-treating and
Hmm.
Halloween over here. So, and the kids got dressed up. They got they came home with like 4 pounds of candy each.
Wow.
And there were no lines on the rides.
Hey,
And they got there at
interesting.
like 5 and they left at 9. So I think that's where it's at,
Okay. That's good to
is
know.
to go at
Okay.
night. Yeah.
Yeah,
Probably with most theme parks, honestly. But
yeah, I think
like,
that's probably true, actually. Yeah.
yeah.
That's
So,
interesting. Because that
mhm.
was those wee stalls that we saw that were like not open whenever yeah,
Yep.
yeah, yeah. That was
Yep.
yeah, okay. Good.
Yep.
I'm glad they kind of got that experience because I think we
They
were all a
did.
bit sad that they weren't open at the time.
I know.
Um, okay, I do have something else, but I feel like I'm looking at the time and I'm thinking
No,
we'll
no,
save.
go.
Well, it was just you know what it was, and this would be a bad place to put this, but it's something separate because I've been watching more normal people since I got back home.
Okay. I could talk
Uh,
about normal people all day, every
I know
day.
you could. But it was more, and I guess it's more of an appeal to our listeners as well because like I remember you talking to me a bit about I was talking about we were talking about prom, American
Hmm.
prom, and you were talking
Hmm.
about what my equivalent would be, and then
Hmm.
you mentioned the word Debs, and
Yeah.
then there was the episode with the Debs in it in Normal People. And then I started thinking about us, and I started thinking about how we call it a formal, and then it got me thinking of whether it's a Protestant Catholic thing. So I don't know if any of our
Oh,
listeners
interesting.
could inform me on that. If you do, if you're listening, you want to reach out, let me know.
Like Debs versus formal, or
yes.
like
So
having any,
no,
okay.
so Debs versus formal.
Or having anything. Okay.
I think they are the same thing. I just think they're called something different, So I think
Hmm.
it's Debs. I think it's Debs down south, and then probably for like Catholic folks, I think it's probably a formal for both people in the mainland UK and Protestants up here. Probably is my guess. Who knows? But yeah, it just got me thinking that because you mentioned it before, and it was like, oh yeah, okay.
Hmm.
So yeah, so yeah. I
He should have taken her to the Debs. That's all I'm gonna
should have taken
say.
her to the Debs. He was gutted about it. Hey. I didn't have a lot of sympathy for him, but I felt his emotion. He fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, that's completely off off topic tangent at
Did I
the
give
end
you the
there.
book?
You
I
did.
can't
Yeah,
remember. Okay,
you
good.
did.
Okay.
I'm gonna finish the series and then I'm gonna give it a read. I might
Yeah. That's
space
what I did.
out, yeah, space it out a wee bit so I'm not reading it directly afterwards, but I plan to for sure.
Yeah.
Um so I think that in a very awkward and completely unrelated way has wrapped up our topic for this week. So time to move on to our final section, which is what's been bringing you joy this week.
So the nice thing is within this week you were here,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
So I would say, wait, was it a week ago?
No,
Oh, we missed a
I did
week.
I left a week.
You did.
Yeah. Hmm.
Okay. Anyways, 2 weeks, whatever. I would say I'm gonna harken back to when you were here.
Hmm.
It was the day that you and I and our friend went downtown and just like mucked around.
Yeah.
And there I like I'm not complaining. That's not
Hmm.
what I'm not complaining, but just not having to worry about like kids' schedule pickup
Yeah.
at school, like working the kids in. It was just like it reminded me of like the feeling I had when we were in Portugal, and it was just like
Yeah.
whatever we wanted to do, didn't matter what time. We didn't really have anywhere else to be, so we did what we wanted when we wanted, and it was just like so it was nice to be an adult and have a beverage by the ocean and like
Yep.
talk about adult things and
True.
um I just need to do more of that. I think in my life in general probably because it was so great.
That was a great day. It really
Yeah.
was.
And I do love my children. I just also love
No,
adult time. So,
and I think that like we've talked about this before. I think any parents that I know would completely understand what you're talking about. Do you know what I mean?
yep.
Like there is
Yep.
a need to have both of that and to still kind of acknowledge your adult life as well because
Yeah.
it can quite easily get lost. I think for a lot of folks,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
not that I
And
know.
you and our friend were far less whiny about like me dragging you all over the midway for 3 hours. So
That's true. That's great.
put you in the brig.
Yeah. So that's true. Yeah, it wasn't a break. So what has been bringing me joy, and I'm not going to talk about it in detail in case Beth hasn't seen it yet, but like I basically mainlined all of the most recent season of Slow Horses as soon as I came back.
I haven't
Uh,
seen all of it.
okay, so I won't mention too much, but like it's interesting. I'm just going to talk about it a little bit generally. Like I really like that show, but I feel
Are we
like
three? Are it's like it's culminated?
it's
It's
finished.
done?
It finished on
Okay, okay.
Wednesday. Yeah.
Now I've been like going back to when it's like what do we watch? It's always Game of Thrones. So we're just
Yeah.
like waiting, plotting and waiting for something else. So now I'm gonna,
Yeah, just churn through that. Yeah.
yep,
So like
yep. Thank
I,
you.
you're welcome. So like I think that like I really like that show and I will definitely recommend it to people all day, but I think it has I really love all the characters and I think that it's like greatest strength is also maybe its biggest weakness in that it's only 6 episodes long each season and there are so many characters that a lot of them feel a little bit underserved a lot of the time, but it's so great. I think the characters are so great that it doesn't really matter to me anyway. I just find it nice to spend time with these folks. And I just love the sort of because like as time goes on, you kind of like because they are even though they're supposed to be the incompetent fuck ups, because they're the kind of heroes of the show or of of the setting that they kind of are more competent than perhaps they should be. Um, so it like so there's some issues there in that regard, but it's still great and it's yeah, constantly entertaining. I think this season had a lot less Gary Oldman being, doing his thing.
Mhm.
And although I missed that, I really felt it gave some of the other characters some time to shine, and I was grateful for that. So yeah, it's there's nothing else like it. I don't think it's definitely worth checking out.
And I think like I had I think I'm probably maybe 3 or 4 episodes in.
Hmm.
And I totally like it's almost like each season kind of focuses on a few characters specifically.
Yes.
And like I noticed that too, where I'm like, I want to know more about like what's happening here, but at the same time, um, if they can just do more seasons, then maybe we'll get all of what we crave. If they just
Yeah,
keep making the show forever.
that's true. I think like and I think yeah,
Because I
that's
hate
very true.
change and I hate endings. So
Yeah, that's so true. I do like that each season is 6 episodes. I think that's quite neat, and I think it makes it easy to recommend to people. But I think that you could maybe fire a couple of episodes each season in there, and I wouldn't be complaining. Let's put it that way.
yeah.
But
Do you
yeah,
hear us, Gary? Put in the time and the effort.
yeah. Come on, it
I
won't take you long to do another like
no.
like
I
2 hours
just
of
saw
TV.
him as Commissioner Gordon again in
Uh-huh.
Batman Begins, and I was just like, right, that's Batman Begins.
Yes, it is.
Commissioner Gordon the Joker. Um, wow. And I'm just like, that's Jackson Lamb, Mike. And he's
I
like,
know.
I know, it's so weird. It's so
Get
weird.
like it is so funny because like he was such like a sex symbol in the like his early career and like what to consider what Jackson Lamb is now, it's brilliant. Like it's so funny. I kind of love that. I kind of love that even more with that context.
Mhm. And honestly, like have you having watched Substance, which is about, women
Yeah,
and aging and how we're not allowed to do it.
no, it's true.
Um, but like in Hollywood, like men are allowed to, and I'm watching the trajectory of who's the guy that plays Ford in Dungeons and Dragons?
Oh, Hugh Grant.
Hugh Grant, like watching his trajectory
It's
and
true.
like basically he's like he's given an interview where he's like, I'm no longer the leading man role, so now I'm the Oompa Loompa, basically,
Yeah.
right? And like I'm accepting that and but like there's still roles.
Yes, it's true. Whereas it's not the case for a lot of women
No,
once they get past
no.
a certain and and like the film really deals with that in a very kind of like in your face way. I mean, I think I said it best before this episode started. Like there's nothing subtle about that film, but I think that makes it even better as a result.
Mhm.
And like so the kind of three main roles in that film are. Demi Moore, Margaret Qualley, and Dennis Quaid, and he embodies that. He's just this piece of shit, like Hollywood executive who is just interested in these young, beautiful women, and once they hit a certain point, he's just kind of lost interest in them.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's really I really like that movie a lot. It's a nightmare, but it's brilliant.
I'm excited.
Yeah, check it out. Check it out.
Okay. Gonna do
Um,
it.
but yeah. Okay, folks. So I think we have hit the end of this episode. Beth, can you tell people where they can find us and stuff, please?
Yes, we are at bendypodcast.com.
Hmm.
And you can watch full episodes of us like not videotaping.
Videotaping.
Zoom recording ourselves
Uh-huh.
on YouTube. So check us out there and also our video shorts as well, which may get longer. It might be
Yeah,
3 minutes as of tomorrow. We'll
we're
see.
experimenting with that. Exciting.
Uh-huh. And I know everyone wants to know the background tech information.
You
I'm
love
nerding out. I don't know.
it.
I know I love it so much.
All right, folks. In that case, we'd like to remind you, as always, to stay
Sandy. Okay, so on the Zoom thing, it just said playing music? Question mark. Set up professional audio and audio setting.
Oh, well, I mean, like, I'm glad somebody recognizes our talent. Thank you, Zim. All right.
Sorry.
We love you.
Bye.
Bye,
We
bye,
love
bye,
you.
bye.
Bye, 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 bye.
Nice.